evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us tonight for what is going to be an uplifting book chat with Jillian Dubois and her book, Live Seahshells, What Makes Us Unique Makes Us Extraordinary. My name is Melody McAllister, and if this is your first time joining us tonight, or you join us every chance you get, I want to thank you. You can catch this live broadcast every Wednesday from Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and you can catch the replay on these same channels. I want to especially thank Alice Keeler for giving us her platform for these broadcasts and shining a spotlight on the work of incredible people like Jillian. Tonight, we will be enjoying a children's story that shows unconditional love through the storyline and beautiful illustrations. With my own children, it has sparked conversations about how God looks at us differently. We may see something that we don't like, but He sees our beauty. We also talked about how can we do this for others. Jillian, I am in just complete awe of all the things that you're doing. Author, illustrator, educator, publisher. Thank you for joining us tonight. How are you, and would you tell us about your background?
Sure. I am so excited to be here. And that was the sweetest introduction. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I am Jillian. I'm a second grade educator here in Clearwater, Florida. So Melody, we're all the way across the United States from each other, literally from one end to the next.
Yes.
And and recently published author and illustrator and publishing. I'm just kind of just taking those steps as they come. It's a lot of fun. And I'm constantly busy, but constantly finding incredible just joy in every single step. So.
And I remember, like, this year has just like been incredible for you, because you were at the beginning, you were getting your book published, like you hadn't had it published, and now you are a publisher, and we're going to talk about that. But I just want to say, like, you are have left me in awe, complete awe. And I hope that the others that join us tonight will be as inspired as I am with your story. Can you tell us a little bit about like why you decided to write Live Seahshells, and just anything about it that you'd like to share?
Oh, sure. That's like my megaphone moment. That's what I love to share most of all. And being a children's author, or being an author in any account, on any account, and you know this too from your own books, but it's not about being famous and making money, and because there are so many of us out there, right? But it really is truly, and I had a conversation with somebody about this today, but it's just about getting your own message out and sharing things that are from your heart. And a year ago, I never, ever would have even thought that was possible. It was just a little dream in my head. But, a little over a year ago, I sat down and wrote Live Seahshells during COVID while we were home with remote learners. And I am just one of those, I cannot sit still for longer than about 5 minutes. So I have to have something to do. So I could not binge any more Netflix. I was tired of watching TV and reading chick lit fluff. And I'm like, all right, I got to put my mind to something and get something done. So I wrote this story, and basically it's a narrative of my sister's life. And my sister passed away from cancer about 10 years ago. And she left behind 2 small children who were 7 and 9. My niece, Kaylee, was the youngest. And she really, because her mom had been so ill for most of her life, had no real recollection of a lot of her character, a lot of really what made her special. And although we've told her that and shared things with her throughout her life, she's 16 now. And I just something in me wanted to leave a legacy for her and leave that, honor my sister by leaving that with my niece. So I started writing, and it was all about, and you'll hear this story, but it is about a girl who just finds the broken pieces of seashells, and she collects them because they're beautiful to her. So in parallel with my sister found those broken people and really made friends very easily. She loved everyone, showed compassion to everyone. And that was just who she was. I always was envious of how she could just make friends so easily and just take everybody under her wing and just show them love and empathy like nobody else ever could. And I think even now, after she's gone, I still think that's part of why I think it's so important to share messages like this, because who knows? I mean, that it's changed my life. I've looked at her life differently. I've looked at my niece now and how that has been so impactful to her and her life. And she's shown all her friends, you know, hey, this is my mom. And I remember one of her best friend's mom actually happened to read the book that she gave it. You know, she gave it to her friend's mom, and her mom's like, Kaylee, this is a great story, but you know what? This is not just about your mom, Kaylee. This is you. You are just like your mom. You know, so that's just brought our family just so close together. And it's just so neat to have, you know, for other people outside of our family to see those qualities in my niece that, you know, was definitely there with my sister. So, yeah, so that's kind of cool. That was the whole reason I wrote it.
That is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. And I know that I've heard this story a little bit before, but it gives me goosebumps every single time. And it's just a beautiful legacy for your sister and for your nieces. I love that. It's great. Would you mind, and if you are watching and you would let us know like that you're watching, we would love to hear from you. And are you okay with reading your story aloud?
Yes. Can I really?
Yes.
So that's one of my favorite things to do. Like, one of my things that I am enjoying doing is we got out of school in May, and most schools didn't get out till almost end of June. And I was like, hey guys, I'm at home. I'm kind of bored. If you want me to read to your classroom, I am happy to hop on. I was doing 6 and 7 read alouds a week to classrooms.
That is awesome.
I know, it was so much fun because I was home and I'm like, let me, you know, and I could walk them through a little bit of a writing lesson and why I wrote and inspire them a little bit. So, you know, so that's it. Yeah, that's what I love doing. So I would love to read it to you.
Awesome. Wonderful. Okay. And I know that you said, sorry, I was trying to make sure that everything was public on my end. I am so excited. Okay. So do you still want me to show the pictures while you read?
Yeah, that would be great.
Awesome. All right.
Now that means we have to really coordinate this.
Okay. Look. Okay. So see, I had to make sure. I was like, yes, Tammy, thank you. I love Tammy. She watches. Tammy's amazing. Thanks for joining us, Tammy.
Okay. Ready? I'll go slow.
Yes.
Or is it just easier for me? I know. You could hold up the page and I could just read the page from here.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I thought.
That'll work. Okay. Live Seahshells.
Okay. And you are the author and the illustrator. And the publisher.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, and that in itself is another story, but yeah, I love drawing. So yes, it is dedicated to my loves, Tim and Austin, who are my husband and my son, who bring me hope and joy each day and encourage me to chase my dreams. All right. And this is Liv, and Liv loves the seashore. The sounds, I think we skipped a page.
Oh, did you? I'm trying to think.
Maybe I'll try. There we go. Oh, the sounds, the smells, and the views of the ocean beckon her to come out and play with a salty welcome. Liv's bare feet, sandy toes, and sun-kissed rosy cheeks make her heart delighted as she cheerfully runs toward the waves. Liv takes it all in. Every calming breath, every peaceful moment seems to give her life. Next page. The misty air gives her a burst of energy as she explores along the seashore, curious to find today's treasures. Liv has the ability to find the most delicate objects that peek ever so slightly from beneath the surf and the sparkling sand. What does she find today? Seashells. They are her gems of the sand. Liv uncovers each one with joy. We're on a roll now. Look at us, Melody.
Yes.
She is on the watchful hunt today in the tropical breeze. Big, small, multicolored, unusual, and broken. Yes, broken seashells. Liv makes 2 piles of the seashells that she finds on the beach. The first pile is perfect. They are beautiful, shiny, and stunning to the eye with no flaws. She holds them in her tiny hand. But without a doubt, the second pile is her favorite. Liv delicately searches for the broken seashells and gently lays them down. She is captivated by the number of them that she has picked up. She discovers that a variety of them are chipped, cracked. Oh, go back 1 page.
Oh gosh. We were doing so good. Wait.
The pages stick together. Yeah. She discovers that a variety of them are chipped, cracked, worn, and have lost their colorful sheen. Liv, it skipped a page on your book.
Did it?
Oh, it did. That is very odd. It skipped several pages on your book. That page does not go there.
Okay.
Okay. You need another book, lady. Okay.
We love this. We didn't know. We love the story.
Liv joyfully takes notice of their charm. They do not look ruined to her. She only sees the beauty. That is the strangest thing. Oh my goodness. Liv has an understanding spot in her heart for the seashells that she saves. She believes they could benefit from her loving attention. She squeezes her eyes shut and wishes she could hear their unique stories and tell them all of her own life's secrets. I hope these pages are in your book, Melody.
They are. They are.
Okay.
I love this. This is my favorite part.
She gathers the fragile seashells from the imperfect pile as she packs up to go home. Sweetly, she brushes off the grains of sand and rinses them carefully under the cool water. She gently dries her shells and places them in the basket to display on her nightstand. Liv crawls into bed and glances over to admire the new arrangement of little blessings next to her. In the stillness of the summer evening, she barely whispered words of comfort and devotion in her small, airy voice. This is the part that gets me.
Me too.
I love you.
Goosebumps.
Just the way you are. You are not damaged or broken. I see you as one of a kind. You are a special masterpiece. And this is my very favorite 2 pages. Each one with a different size, color, and shape with imperfections that make you amazing and extraordinary. My favorite illustration right here. Don't let anyone take away your chance to sparkle and shine for what you really are. Liv turns off the lights with a smile and a twinkle in her eye as she says goodnight to her small treasures that have brought her contentment. As she drifts off to sleep, Liv will be dreaming of what her next adventure could bring as she continues to search the shore for more friends. She is ever hopeful to find new opportunities to share heartfelt compassion, positive that there are more for her to cherish.
I love that. Yes. Oh my goodness. I love that.
So,
And
the whole, I hope your book is okay. If it's not, I'm going to send you another one.
We'll talk about it afterwards. Don't worry about it. With the part that you love, those affirmations were absolutely my favorite part. I got goosebumps when I read them with my kids yesterday, and I got goosebumps when you read them out loud. Like it's beautiful. And your illustrations, like in themselves could be like pictures, like they're just so gorgeous and meaningful. So I love this book. And like I said, I am in awe. And thank you for sharing with us, because not everybody feels comfortable to share their work with the world like this. But I hope that you had a good time. A lot of people are watching. Tell us how you're feeling. Tell us what you thought, like what kind of feelings came up. We would love to hear it. But I would also like to know, because you are the illustrator, you are the publisher, can you tell us a little bit about your creative process, what's happening now and what's happening next?
Yeah, the really cool thing about being able to do your own illustrations is, the words are one thing, being able to tell a story, but to be able to put an illustration to the story almost just brings it more to life. And I know even, with the pictures and Live and with the other books I have, it's just, that's telling the story. And that's, I hope that children, and I hope that adults too, but just get that sense that it is, it is a creative process, yes, but the message is that we are all so unique and so different, and we are such a masterpiece, wonderfully and uniquely made. And it's just, I can't wait. Like my students last year, of course, this just came out in November. So all 3 of my books are not even a year old. And I've pushed myself, And so even the second Live is coming at the end of the year. I was going to try and put it out this summer and I just couldn't. But yeah, so the creative process is just writing the story, but then going through each one of the lines and going, okay, what does this look like? What does this look like in my heart? What would it look like to somebody who is reading it? So, and the publishing piece of it, I love, because I guess because I'm kind of like the only one who's doing all this, So it really truly is all mine. And that was, by accident too. I never, ever thought that this was possible to publish, to write, to illustrate. I've just been encouraged along the way by so many people, by family and friends, and just honestly sharing authentic messages. So Live Seahshells is about, hope and compassion and joy and acceptance. Road to Awesome is about finding your path in life, and everybody's path looks differently. What's it going to look like for you? Look at You, Piper Lou is about our adopted dog that we just adopted 3 months ago, and just about her journey of, finding a family and finding love. So, so it just comes up so organically. It really does. It's not pre-planned. It's not, I don't have, I do have plans to keep writing and illustrating and publishing, and who knows what that's going to turn into. It's still a little baby project, but maybe it'll grow, and maybe I'd love to help other children's authors be able to use their voice and help them get their messages out too and publish. So down the road, that's what I'll be looking to do as well.
Wow, that is incredible. And I just want to, kudos to you. Your whole story is amazing. But if you are interested, Jillian has other books out, and you can go to impartedjoy.com and check those books out. And do you have any of them right near you where you want to show them?
I do. I always, This is Road to Awesome. And that was co-written with Darren Peppard. So this one is actually published through Road to Awesome. And we wrote that about a boy. This was a boy So who is looking for his road to awesome, thinking about what he's going to take with him on his journey. Yeah. So, and then Look at You, Piper Lou, is just about a lot of sweet pups. So, yeah. So just a dog who needed to find a home and who was abandoned by her family and ended up in a very with a very happy ending. So, and that happy ending is in my home. So, yeah, but at the same thing, like the very last page of Piper Lou is the message: you are loved, you are valued, you are enough. Look at you, Piper Lou. So, kind of the same messages, the social emotional messages that we all need to hear, right? We just all need it every single day, and I think that's just what is in my heart. That's just who I am, and I can't wait for the next step. So,
and the thing that you have in your books is that you see every day what kids need, and you're able to put those affirmations into a book, a beautiful book with a story that is meaningful and illustrations that are meaningful. And like, I just feel like if we're going to put books into our classroom library, these are the kinds of books that really speak into the lives of children. And so I do applaud you for that. I'm going to flash this up again. Can you hear the back? Are you hearing some feedback? Oh, you're not? Okay, good. I'll just keep talking then. So if you want to follow Jillian, you can follow her on Twitter, and you can go to her website, impartedjoy.com. Jillian, how do people really connect with you? What's the number one way to connect with you for author visits, or anything that people generally like to connect with you for?
Yeah, you can always DM me on Twitter. I'm always there. Probably Twitter and Imparted Joy. There's a contact little page, so you can always shoot me an email. That's up there. And yeah, I mean, I answer right away. I love to communicate. I love finding new friends and finding new avenues to share messages and just to encourage and inspire other people too. I mean, it's not all about me. It's not all about what I can do. I want to help other people do the same thing. So.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. It's such a genuine message. What has been some of the response that has just filled you up from your stories?
It's funny. It's seeing the book and the message in the hands of people that I don't even know. Like somebody sent me a picture, a friend of mine sent me a picture. She goes, "This was a friend. I just happened to see her Instagram and she was holding up a picture of your book with her little boy." And I'm like, I have no idea who this is, and it's like, it's just so neat, that whole little ripple effect. And it just keeps going, and it's traveled all the way. I know Liv has traveled all the way to Canada and to Australia and to England. And it just blows me away that it's just such a small little thing can have such an impact. And that's what makes it all worth it. It doesn't matter if it's one person or 1,000 people. It's, and as authors, we're not doing this to get rich. We are not, we are not making money. I will tell you that right now, but
I am not.
No, but it is, gosh, it is just so rewarding to understand that you have a voice and that people are hearing your voice. And I think that's what the most important thing is. I'm, believe it or not, a complete introvert, and I do not like being in crowds. I do not like talking to groups of people. But when it comes to sharing things that I've done creatively, there's just something different. Like I just light up, and it's completely changed me, completely changed my life. I know my husband is like, "You're so much happier. Like, what's going on?" And I'm like, I think is everything that was in here is just come out, and I'm free to share it. And so, yeah.
Gosh, yeah, that's got to feel good. Do you feel like you write when you just get inspired and you write it and just do it all like in a few settings?
Illustrating is a process. So the stories are easy to write. the, the illustrations take some time. So it's because it's finding that perfect balance of, and I'm such a perfectionist, so it's finding that balance. But yeah, like I said, it just happens kind of organically. I'll go back and change things or edit things. And I think that's the nice thing about publishing myself is I can change things at the last minute if it doesn't sound right or feel right. But I do have, friends that help me out by proofreading and help me edit things. And so that's really the whole process. It's not any fancy, big, big deal, but.
Well, it's not fancy or a big deal to you, but to other people, they're like, how do I start doing? I think it's interesting that so many different writers have their own method. And I'm very interested in hearing what makes other people want to write. Like I have a hard time writing if I'm not inspired. Like I really have to be inspired to write. Some people write, all day, like for a set amount of time. So it's very interesting for me to hear. And something, books are being published now a lot more than they used to be. Like it used to be a lot harder to get your book published, but at the same time, it's still not something that everybody does because it's scary. And I think that like we've put a book out there, so we're kind of we're not over it because it's still scary, but like that fear of like exposing your heart is real. And just like, I was talking about this with somebody else, like you put your written work out there and you stand exposed. It's like your heart is bare. There's so much vulnerability in that. And that's why, like, I love highlighting people's work because it's just, that's brave. That takes a lot of courage.
Wow.
And you're doing that times infinity with your illustrations and publishing. So
thank you. And, it's, I guess, yes. And when you're telling your story, it also is a healing thing too. I mean, at the time I was even contemplating writing Live Seahshells, I was still grieving. It was still hard. My sister and I were very close, and I was grieving for her family, her kids that, no longer have her presence here on earth. So, and grief never goes away. So
right.
I think for me, it was a very cathartic, very healing part of that grieving process, even though it had been, almost 10 years. So, yeah, I mean, it can be anything for anybody. I always encourage when I do read alouds to students into classrooms, I always say, I always ask them, my first question is, how many of you ever get stuck when you're writing? And every single child raises their hand, right? We all do. I do. I get stuck. So the main thing is, you stop, you pause. You may have to walk away for a little bit, but then you think about, what is the message I want to tell? What is in my heart? What are the things that are important to me? Family, friends, places I've been, people that are important to me, just maybe experiences that I've had. So, and I always tell students, just start jotting things down. You don't have to write in perfect paragraphs all the time. You just start putting things down, put your thoughts down on paper. And I know it's so hard to start doing that, but even just jotting little notes or keeping a journal, and, that's what sparks it. That's what'll start it. The pressure, don't be pressured. And that's the hard part about being a teacher. We have to teach writing. We have to teach the structure, the grammar parts. So all of those components, yes, are important, but also just giving kids that freedom to, you just talk about what's important to you. Talk about what's on your heart. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. Well, we are at the end of our time, and what a great way to end. If you love Jillian's book or any author's book, a great way to show that is to give them a review. I know I'll be giving a review, a 5-star review, because I love your book so much. And I hope that you'll take the time, go to impartedjoy.com, find Jillian on Twitter at Jill Dubois 22. And thank you so much for sharing your story with us. It was so special and sweet. And everybody watching, thank you for tuning in. We will see you again next week. But do you have any, if you have any last words, I don't want to cut you off, but but I want to thank you. It was an honor to have you here tonight.
No, thank you so much. It was excellent. I appreciate it.
All right, everybody. We'll see you again next week.